Hey everybody, this is Vril. Welcome back to Extended Timeline, World War II. In the last episode, we had a war between China here against the Japanese for territory in Manchukuo. The Chinese ended up winning that war and taking several provinces from Manchukuo. Down in South America, we had a war between the Argentinians and Brazil. Actually, Brazil was the attacker, Argentina was the defender, and that war ended up going for a little while and ended up going in a stalemate, no territory exchanged, and the war ended. Then over here in Peru, we had a war between Peru and the Panamanians, and the Peruvians ended up taking quite a bit of territory from Panama here. Panama's pushed all the way up to El Salvador at this point. Then we had a war, which is still going on, between the Italian Somaliland, backed up by Spain and Turkey, and they're going for their independence, although it looks like they're going to lose that bid, because the Italians are gaining the advantage there. So let's have a look at our militaries of the world, as we always do. USA, China, Soviet Union, followed by Germany and Japan. The Germans have very low manpower, same with the Chinese, but their army is back up to second place. Looking at wars that were going on, we already talked about the Italian Somaliland, but we also have the Spanish Mauritanian Imperialist War. One thing I wanted to do was look at the technology map. I did notice that Turkey has westernized. They originally started with the Anatolian tech group, so you can just kind of see here what the tech groups are. We've got Chinese tech groups. Actually, the Chinese are westernized already. Japanese Korea is still Asian. Manchukuo is still Asian. Okay. Down in South America, looks like everything is westernized. But yeah, let's go ahead and just get this started. So we are looking at what was going on in Italian Somaliland here. Let's get down here. Not sure if any of the... Yeah, actually Italy is occupying or attempting to siege areas in Somaliland, Ethiopia here. They are successfully doing so. Italian Somaliland is Cameroon on the side of... They're apparently on the side of the Italians there. Okay. Of course, we've got this war between Spain and Mauritania. It's kind of not going anywhere at the moment. Mauritania is who was the aggressor here? Spain was against Mauritania. Looks like Mauritania is going to be able to win this, or possibly win this, though, because they actually have their army in the territory here. It's got a 3-star Italian stack that's only a 1k there. Okay. But yeah, it looks like the Italians are really going to... Okay, Yemen's in there. Did have the Italians in the last episode. So Greece is in this war as well. Or they were. Okay. Well, the Turks fought the Greeks, and they ended up taking a couple of their provinces. That they didn't capture them totally, but then the Italians came down here, just like they're doing again right here through Bulgaria this time, and are completely destroying the Turks here with their... The Italians have their 3-star general. So yeah, they're really occupying here in Ethiopia, that region. Looks like one of the provinces was captured back. Nothing else has fired off for the moment. Look at this. The Mauritanians almost captured all of this area here that the Spain have. Spanish colony. I suspect that they're going to win that. Both of these wars are not going well for the for the attacker here. So Spain was the attacker on this war against Mauritania. Let me just switch over. Look at all these different... Well, that's because we've got this Italian Somaliland war, as Spain is also involved with that one. So, a lot going on for them. Did the Italians... Let's see. I thought maybe they moved up through France into Spain, but I'm not seeing them there. Might be thinking of a previous war at some point in time. The Italians have been in quite a few wars throughout this series. Okay. Nothing else is fired off, but this Italian Somaliland is all the way to 40, minus 40 in the war score. And I think it actually just ended. That's what happened. Italian Somaliland, of course, did not gain their independence. So now only thing we have going on is this Mauritanian war against Spain. Who was on? Niger was on there, I thought so. So we can see our diplomatic map a little bit easier now. Who is in charge in Spain? So no longer Franco. We have Emperor Juan here, so they've changed from being fascist to their empire status. Do you think that's... Well, it's 1975. I think, what was Franco in power until about, I want to say 1976, but I could be wrong. Where are we paused? Okay. There we go. So yeah, we've got Spanish 3-star generals just sitting up here in Spain, doing absolutely nothing. Mauritania has captured, I think, all the Spanish area that they can. I think they have. Yep. Well, this war looks like it's going to be ending soon. I'm going to bump this up to 3-speed, get some time going here. Let's look. We haven't looked at any. We've got some rebels up here in Sweden, Swedish noble rebels. Of course, the Germans up here now have Denmark and the Netherlands. I've repeated that over and over. They're rebuilding their army and probably looking for their next conquest. I would think that would be what they're doing. And I would figure that the Chinese... Okay, we've got an American reconquest in Manila, so the Americans are back trying to capture some territory in Indonesia, Philippines area, but it looks like the Japanese are going to just... Because they already have their army here, the Americans are not going to do very well. They always declare this war, and I've repeated this over and over through the playthrough. They don't bring their army over. Why do you declare war if you're not going to bring your army over? So let's see. We've got a Soviet reconquest, again, against Japan. Okay, so the Japanese. Where was their army at? I know we already did this, but okay, they do have decent army, but not against the million-man army of the Americans and the several 100,000 strong army of the Soviets. Now, the Soviets, I would think, they actually do have a similar problem to... Okay, are the Mongolians on the Japanese side? Let me just double check this. What was our coalition? Okay, against Hungary, we've got Albania and a bunch of others. Okay. Probably not going anywhere. But I did want to check. Mongolia is on the side of the Japanese at this point. Okay. But yeah, the Soviets do these wars. And it seems like similar to the Americans. I mean, the Soviet Union is so large. They have to move their troops across the land all the way over here. And they don't seem to be able to capture much land before their war exhaustion goes up really high, and then, you know, they start dealing with that. They should certainly have the army that should be able to take the Japanese here pretty easily. Let's check again. Indonesia is completely occupied by the Manchukuo and the Japanese here. Let's diplomatic map this and see if the Americans hold any other area. They've got Sulu there. Got some other islands. That's about it. Let's look at Japan here. Look at this, all this red that they're facing here. Okay. Japanese are occupying some of... This is going to be really hard to read because the red areas, hash marks in Japanese Korea are the Soviets, but the red areas in the Soviet Union are the Japanese. So, very difficult to read that. Now, the Soviets seem to be occupying parts of Mongolia here. What is the... The Mongolians are communist, yet they're on the side of the Japanese, who are the empire, and actually they warred against the Chinese, who are, as far as we know, are communist state as well. Okay. A lot of sense that makes, but that is the way of things. Looks like we've got some American fleets moving on in. Probably just going to be around for naval battles. I don't expect them to actually be carrying any troops. It'd be nice if they did. Japanese are occupying some areas, or actually it's, well, Manchukuo, Soviet Union, northern parts here. Okay. Anything else? I think we've got Coach Tibetan Imperialist War. Okay. The Spanish Mauritanian. Interesting that I think Niger was in that war and they've dropped out of this war. Not sure why they'd want to do that. Okay, so this little... Who's the attacker here? This little one province minor is attacking Tibet here. Okay. Alright, well, we won't focus on that one very much. I think we've got some more interesting things happening here in Japanese Korea and the Soviet Union. Some massive armies. We've got sieging going on. Looked like somebody had some disease go there. Okay. What was our war score looking like? The Soviets, well, the Americans are losing, the Soviets are slightly winning. Okay. Yeah, it looks like they've got a decent sized army. We've got a battle going on here between the Soviets and Manchukuo. It looks like the Soviets are going to win that one. We do know that Manchukuo were they Western tech group, so their army has to be slightly less, although, with that said, looks like Manchukuo won that one. Okay. I guess it depends on we've got some rivers around here, so if anybody's doing a river crossing, certainly going to be in the negative. Got another one over here between the Chinese and Japanese and the Soviets. These red flags are hard to follow. Okay, and I didn't even catch who won that one, but I thought it looked like the Japanese won the initial one, but I think some more Soviet stacks moved in and then took them out. Okay, the Soviets are attacking the Manchukuo again. It looks like they're... Yeah, so you can see their terrain, and they were crossing the river there, so that's why they're taking those pretty high negatives when they're trying to attack that Manchukuo stack. So the Soviets are not very smart on that one. I'd probably... Although the Manchukuo just moved their army. Let's sort this by... Okay, Soviet reconquest still in the positive. The Americans are... Did they show up? They must have won a naval battle or something. Okay, and they've actually brought their army. Wow. No general, but they brought their army and they're besieging back some of these areas. If they could just be smart enough to actually besiege this, that would be pretty good. For them, anyway. I'm liking what the Japanese are doing so far. I'm happy to see that they have been holding their own. I mean, they've been in a lot of wars, like the Italians over there. Anything else? Speaking of the Italians, are there any wars fired off or anything? Didn't look like it. But yeah, early in this game, when they had to fight the Chinese and the Soviets and the Americans all at the same time, I was like, the Japanese don't have not very long to live. So they've held their own, though, and taken territory from the Americans here in Indonesia. Are we actually going to move around our army here? They look like they are. So they wanted... The actual war here is for Manila. So we'll see if the Americans can be successful in that. If they are, then... I mean, that will be interesting to see them expand more into the Pacific, if that happens. Got the Japanese attacking the Soviets there. It looks like it's a pretty even battle, but it looks like the Japanese won it. Looks like quite a few armies of the Soviets have been destroyed, or maybe these are... I don't know, maybe they're mercenaries? I don't think they are, though. Okay, we've got some new wars that have just fired off. The Cape Colonies attempting to gain independence. That might be the second time they've attempted to do that. We've got that Kochi. Okay, we've got a French reconquest in Laos. Okay. Taking back some of their French Indochina possessions. Lot going on in Asia. Let's do some diplomatic map here. So actually... Okay, that was wrong. That was just looking at their fabrications. I was like, wow, the French have already occupied all that? No. And I don't think they're going to be very successful if they only have a 5k stack and the Laotians have a 3-star with 15k. Taking a little bit of attrition there, though. Looks like the Americans have now occupied all of Japanese Indonesia. Okay, we've got some Operation Tannenbaum, I think, going on here between the Germans and the Swiss. They're probably going to completely take all of Switzerland here. Is anybody backing up anybody else here? No. The Swiss are going it alone here. So it looks like some of this German, even though they're a republic now, as we've mentioned, they're following some of their World War II inspirations here. Maybe on a completely different timeline than any of us would have expected. But yeah, there they go. They took over. Just slow this down. There we go. So they're gonna have to core that up. There we go. That's good. Okay, what else do we have? That was a super quick war compared to some of these other ones. Total blitzkrieg. Okay, let's head back over to the Far East. A lot going on here. Do we have American army is finally occupying some of Japan, although we've got a 2-star general here in Japan that is going to be able to take out this army, I would suspect, because they have no leader at all. The Japanese... Okay, no, this is... I was going to say, I've already talked enough about how that's really difficult to see, but here we go. A Japanese attacking the Americans here. The Americans have no chance. Kicking the Japanese kicking them off of their island, and it's taken a little while there. but that is what is going to happen. There it is. Okay, well, I'm going to pause it here. Does look like we're out of time for this episode. I hope you enjoyed this one, and please consider hitting the like button if you did, as it really helps out the channel. So I'll see you guys next time.